increased to about 533,000 cubic.
Okay.
But of course, a number of work activities that come on board continue to threaten the holding capacity of the dam.
Which activities are those?
You can see, Honorable, if you check the deforestation activities around the catchment area and the siltation as a result of the runoff water upstream that come on board. Apparently, we also have a challenge that we are hoping does not work to our disadvantage. We have two coffer dams that have been constructed along the Lundazi River.
Are those private dams or government dams?
Yeah, government. They are actually meant to construct the bridge.
Oh, the bridge.
Yes,
okay.
That's bridge that was washed away. So our fear has been that if we receive some heavy rains upstream or a heavy flow of water into Lundazi River, possibly if they could be washed away, and that could increase the siltation on the part of the dam which is downstream. So those are our fears, and that's where we are. So from here, we have our sedimentation tank, where water, when we obstruct from here, is actually further treated from the
okay, so that's the treatment. So now, what I want to know, is this the only source of water for Lundazi for now, this dam, or is there another source?
This is the only source for Lundazi. In fact, it is the only potential source. We had the feasibility study way back of some see if Lundazi could be supplemented with the underground water, and those bores could not give us enough. I think about 0.5 liters per second, which could not be electrically equipped with electrical pumps. So we can confidently say the only source for Lundazi is actually a dam. I think the more reason why MD was trying to highlight on the issue of the proposed upper Lundazi dam to supplement this one. Exactly.
Yeah. So as where I come from, we say Akana can't forward. I don't know whether the Tumbukas understand it. Yeah. So what you have now is the most important resource. You know. So this dam we have is the most important resource. That is why when we hear about those dams constructed, you are working closely with WAMA, I hope. Yeah, because WAMA, Department of Water Resources Development, and all the other entities, right, before even dams, they should be able to advise, because we don't want to hear that a dam has been washed away. This is why we were heard of a dam which collapsed. Which dam was that? Mwase Dam. That's for you or for someone else?
It actually feeds.
Yeah. So collapsing of dams want workmanship, because not to construct a dam, we are spending resources. And when dams collapse, or there's siltation in the dam, we have had a lot of challenges across the country. So one of the mandates that the president has given us in this ministry is water resources development. We have to protect all water bodies, and that is why I hope there's no encroachment on this water body. Are there encroachments at upstream, like people coming so near or over obstructing, taking out water,
I think not much on obstruction, but I think much of some agriculture activities related, I think, close to
So what we expect is that because when agricultural activities are too close to the river banks, you are going to have siltation. Then we're going to have to look for a lot of money to be doesn't have endless resources. So what we need to prevent, So what we expect is that all of you working together, the law is very clear. The Water Resources Management Act of 2011, you cannot have farming activities near to a bank, a river bank. It's supposed to be 50 meters away, just to prevent what we're talking about. So we expect that WAMA, maybe Mr. Banda, where is Mr. Banda? Yeah, so coordinator WAMA needs to do its job in terms of protecting the water resources development, the water bodies. So what we expect is there should be an assessment of this whole place, including the dams that we're talking about. Yeah, you work with the director, water resources development, WAMA itself. We should not allow any encroachment, on these rivers. We should not allow farming activities very close to the river bank, because the law is on our side. So we just need to enforce it. We're saying farming can happen, development should happen, but it should be what we call sustainable development. If any development comes at the expense of a water body, guess what will happen? The old Lundazi will have no water. And this is exactly what happened in Mumbo, just over a month or two ago. The Chibila Dam, you saw on TV yesterday, government has had to release 3 million kwacha just to start again removing the siltation. In 2015 it was the same. People there of obstructing, doing illegal sand mining until a whole dam is closed. In Choma Choma, if you go to Choma, the Choma Dam is also threatened due to illegal sand mining, siltation. Now people want to cause the damage and cry to government, oh, we need more money to start removing the sand. So we need to prevent that. Prevention is better and cheaper than cure. So that is why, like, through the provincial office for water, WAMA, ZEMA, all the entities have to work together, including with the local authorities. I'm happy the council chairperson is here, so that even when plots are being given, these are the town planners. When plots are being given, you are part of that team. You can advise, like, oh, these places, whether it's wetlands, these are, the water recharge points and whatever, there shouldn't be developments. Otherwise, in a place like this, like you have rightly said, where the water table is so low, underground water is not an option, and there is a huge outcry for bores in Lundazi. We're just from His Royal Highness, Chief Mpamba. So we need bores everywhere, but we know that the most reliable source is the surface water, and you have very good water here, so let's protect this by any means necessary. And I hope you have title for this land, because what I've seen, most water utilities, they have these kind of services, but no title. Then when people are encroaching, you start fighting. Do you have a title, Eastern Water, for where the dam is?
We're in the process of
okay, so I've read the process since I came. So what we expect is that the process should be concluded. Me, I'm a medical doctor, so even in labor day, the process has to end, otherwise there will be no baby. Yeah, so we expect that the labor will end. So MD, work aggressively on that. All your pieces should be on title, because legally you stand on terra firma, solid ground. Otherwise, if you don't have title, the local authorities, it will not capture. They will give someone a developmental activity. Then you start fighting. No, this is a water board and all that. So let's put all our pieces of land on title. I think that's what I would say. So in terms of the water that you are pumping, what is the demand for water in Lundazi, for the district? How many customers are connected? What is the demand for water, and what is the population for the whole town?
The town is around 26,000 township water population. Also, and we are
those are the customers you have, or just the population?
The population
26,000.
Yes,
okay.
And our coverage, our connections is around close to 3,000 or so. 3,900.
Okay.
MD gave 2.5. Of course, when we add the inactive customers that we need to live on board, we get to that.
So we still have a huge gap, isn't it, in terms of reaching out, and that's what we're talking about, the network extension.
Your owner is really at a rampant, and so it calls on us actually to expand and see how that.
Just a quick addition on the same. If you bring in the other customers, this dam is definitely not adequate, not enough. This is a more reason why the Upper Lundazi Dam, which are proposed site, which are going to visit, is critical for us on the demand side. We can preserve, we can do everything, but just the holding capacity may not allow. So we'd rather just have that one, and we're glad to learn that it has reached a very, very advanced stage. Actually, starting 2015, this dam has been drying every year for some period. So we always shift pumps from here to the bottom there. This is why the makeshift thing came in, because of just that.
So the water levels are going down.
They normally go down.
So what is the main cause of the water levels going down? Apart from climate change, what are the human activities? You've mentioned farming activities, that's siltation. Any other reason?
Of course, development activities which are close behind
the development.
Yes.
Which development activities are those?
Some housing units
that are within the buffer zone.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You see, yeah. So what should have happened? Yeah. So we can be here doing churches. Yeah. So what should have happened is that. That's why I'm saying, like, put your land on title. Once you identify a land as a well field, so it's rich, maybe it has a good underground water, you should have secured that, you fence it off. You see that, then they work with the local authorities. No one should have been allowed to be there. Now, the problem, we allow people to go, they start developing. When the house has reached the clouds, I now break it down. It becomes an issue, because legally, you allowed things to go on, and then the council also does its part. So let's not allow problems to become emergencies. So now we're dealing with emergencies instead of having prevented them. So that's why I'm saying, like, the district, the district person. Who is the district water for Lundazi? Okay, so I think what we need, Mr. Banda, coordinate for us, because the issue of water in Lundazi is critical. We also need a report. just an assessment, whether encroachments, whatever, because we have to preserve what we have, even as we talk about the other dam that is planned. So any human activities that may be threatening, because there's also pollution of underground water. When these houses are so close, what is their sewer system? They will do septic tanks, these soakaways or pit latrines. So you are contaminating the underground water, and then it's so close to the surface water actually. So we don't want people to start having cholera, typhoid, dysentery because of human activity. So I think we need a report for Lundazi, both from the upstream, downstream, here, what development activities are there. And those reports have to be shared with us, with me in Lusaka. I think that's by next week. They said by next week we need such reports. Because like I've said, Eastern province is water stressed. It's not like other provinces which have too much water. Luapula has a lot of water, northern, Muchinga, western. But here, every body of water that you have to guard it jealously. Because water is a scarce resource, and that's why Eastern water, you say what's your motto? Every drop counts. Every drop counts. In Luapula water doesn't have that water. There's so much water, not drops. Yeah, there are lakes everywhere. So every drop counts means that water is a scarce resource here. And let's put that into practice. If every drop counts, we have to protect all the water bodies by any means necessary. Yeah, so we expect everything to be on title, whatever oil fields, catchments, sub-catchments, and protecting water bodies. And let's sensitize the people, working with the Royal Highnesses, the government, Madam DC, and the Council Secretary. Yeah.
Honorable Minister, your guidance is very clear.
Okay.
I just want to finally mention that we have a situation. The Lundazi Bridge was washed away, and there's a contractor who is trying to put it back in place. So the methodology they are using, we are looking at it as a very serious potential threat, and we are in the process of preparing. We're in the process of preparing an emergency response plan, because if things go to the west, we may have 0 hours of supply just in the next 1 month or 2.
What is the methodology they're using?
As they are working on the bridge, there's a river passing, so they have heaped soil this side, isn't it?
Yes.
They've heaped on the other side. A coffer dam, but that material is a bit loose. So the moment you have the rains come, it can take away the whole thing. So we're working on the emergency preparedness plan, which we share with the ministry to ensure that we are ready for anything that can.
But
happen.
again, it takes me to how government works. The president says government doesn't work in silos. So that contractor is under which ministry? Ministry of Infrastructure.
Yes.
So Ministry of Infrastructure, they are in Chipata. We have our provincial water persons in Chipata. Are they collaborating? Because even before the contractor starts on the ground, the ministry should have agreed and told them, okay, this and that, so that you have a common understanding. So again, it brings back to coordination. So sit down with Minister of Infrastructure. All these issues that you are raising, you're supposed to raise them around the stakeholders table. For infrastructure, this is our concerns and whatever. Because we don't want to rob from poor, you give Peter, steal from poor to give Peter. You fix a bridge, but you lose the water. We don't want that. It's a win-win situation. Have the bridge, have the water. But that can only happen when we coordinate. So sit down with infrastructure, Eastern Water yourselves, in Chipata, and that has to be done as a matter of emergency. As a matter of emergency, should have been done yesterday, but let it be done as a matter of emergency. Yeah. So thank you so much. I think we can quickly look at the water treatment plan, then we proceed.